Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your source for Second Amendment news at SHOT Show 2020 with somebody that I'm so glad I got to meet. This is Sam Paredes. He is the Executive Director of Gun Owners of California, and he's also a board member of Gun Owners of America. Sir, my pleasure.
It's an honor and a real pleasure to be here with you,
The honor's
Jared.
mine. The honor's mine.
Well, then it's mutual. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man. I wanted you, excuse the pun, but straight from the horse's mouth. My viewers, I have a lot of them in California. They want to know what's going on. They want to know what they can do. And for the rest of the people in the country, want to know what you're facing so that we can take action to stop it before it gets there.
Well, as you've heard, and all the rumors are true, California is, much like Massachusetts, one of the highest gun control states in the nation. We have everything you can imagine. We have waiting periods. We have safe handgun lists that only allow Californians to buy 700 of the multiple thousands of models of handguns that are available to free Americans throughout the country. We're limited to only 700 models, and they're all at least 5, maybe 6 years old now. So we're talking generations old guns.
The old Gen 3 Glock trick, right?
That's it. That's the newest gun we can buy.
Yeah.
And how many Gen 3 Glocks can you buy? Now, I'm not saying that to you Glock collectors, because I know you guys are happy with having 5 or 6 of the same model for each day of the week. And but we're facing everything. The legislature there is absolutely a left-wing, anti-gun, crazy legislature, and our governor is even worse. There's no gun control law that he doesn't like. So we've got micro-stamping required on handguns, a technology that doesn't exist, and that's why we're limited. We have gun rationing, where you can only buy one gun of any kind per month, shotgun, rifle, or a handgun. We've got a 10-day waiting period. We are a shall-issue state on CCWs, so the vast majority of Californians have no ability to get a CCW. 49 million people in California and only 800,000 CCWs, and that's in the rural areas of the state where we have constitutional sheriffs who issue them to law-abiding citizens. We've got, forgive us, but we are the birthplace of the red flag laws. We call them gun violence restraining orders, the most insincere form of gun control possible, because what it says is that anyone can file a gun violence restraining order against someone who they fear might be a danger to themselves or others. And the result of that is that the court issues an order, and the police show up at their doorstep, and they don't show up in their blues and their tans and their greens. No, they show up in full SWAT regalia, and they confiscate the guns of this person. The person doesn't know who filed the gun violence restraining order. They have multiple weeks before they can go before a judge and argue their case. And if the GVRO is upheld, it can be upheld not just for 1, but up to 5 years. It can be upheld, and the rights to keep and bear arms for that person will be denied.
So the extension to 5 years, that's newer, correct?
That is newer. That's a bill that was passed this past year.
Right. So they had, we talk about the red flag on this channel a lot. I call it the single biggest risk to the Second Amendment. It's the most unconstitutional law ever passed. Violates everything we have. But, so California had it, and it wasn't good enough, so they enhanced it.
Yes, of course. It used to be that a family member or a law enforcement officer were the only ones who can request a GVRO. Or a red flag law, and they've expanded it, and they defined a family member as anybody who the subject lived with in the previous 6 months. So if you just graduated from college and you lived in a frat house, all of your frat brothers, any of them could file a GVRO against you. If you have a housemate or roommate, or you're leasing out, renting a portion of your residence to somebody else, they qualified as family. And it's ridiculous. And what happens once they issue the GVRO? Nothing. They take away your guns, and if they're truly in a danger to themselves or others, there's no aid that's offered to them. There's no evaluation. There's no, hey, do you need some psychological attention? Do you need some medical attention? counseling. No, none of that.
Right.
They don't really care.
Right. It's just a confiscation. That's all.
That's all what it's about. And there's no charges that are filed. There's no crime that's been committed. Nothing. And they take away your rights. But now, anybody who works with you at your place of business can file for a GVRO, or any employee of a school. So you're sitting in the lunchroom at Intel in Folsom, 14,000 employees, and you're talking about guns, and somebody walks by with their tray of food, and they overhear you talking about guns, and they know nothing about guns, and they go, oh my gosh, they might come and shoot up Intel. Well, they can file for a GVRO. And it's literally legally impossible to find that somebody did it maliciously.
Right.
Because it's just what they have in their mind. It's just what they think. It's just what they believe.
Now, does California have any repercussion for somebody who has had a red flag filed against them in error? Is there any repercussion against the person who does it frivolous?
No, they say, sorry, you can come pick up your guns. Oh, but before you do, you have to go through the 10-day waiting period and do another dealer record of sales registration in order to receive all of your guns. But we're not going to do that until a judge issues an order that you're clean to come and get your guns back. So, again, they just pile on the law-abiding citizen. It is truly, as you say, the single most unconstitutional abuse of the Second Amendment, denial of Second Amendment rights for law-abiding citizens.
It's terrible. It's amazing that more people don't wake up. But maybe let's talk about maybe some glimmer of good hope, maybe some good news.
Yeah, absolutely.
Freedom Week 2. What do you know about it?
On what?
Freedom Week 2?
Oh, Freedom Week. Freedom Week 2, yes. The same judge that gave us Freedom Week 1 in California, that allowed Californians to buy well over 1 million what we would call standard capacity magazines. The state defines them as large capacity magazines, anything that will hold more than 10 rounds. That judge is now hearing the case on the ammunition registration. Mind you, this is ammunition registration. You have to go through a background check before you are allowed to walk out of a store with a purchase of ammunition in the state of California. If you're a non-resident of California, you have no ability to buy ammunition in the state of California, even though you are a law-abiding citizen. So we cannot bring ammunition from outside of the state of California into California. And the funny thing is, if a gang member from Los Angeles had a family member who lived in Las Vegas, they can buy a truckload of ammunition, drive it to Los Angeles, and give it to them because they're a family member.
Right.
But law-abiding citizens are basically denied that ability, the right to buy ammo. So this judge, the California Rifle and Pistol Association, with the assistance of Gun Owners of California, filed a lawsuit. It's before Judge Paredes in San Diego. And he's going to decide whether to issue an injunction and basically lift the law completely, and which would open up the skies, and doves would fall down with 12 gauge ammo and 9mm, and everybody would be able to import it, and the laws would return to the same as the rest of the country.
Awesome.
So
I'll have that here as we get more. He did delay that, right, until the first week of February now or something?
Yeah, he just ruled on a massively impactful case here in the state of California, so we're expecting that he will be ruling on that here very soon.
Awesome.
In a few weeks.
So now we'll go further down that road of possible good news. There's something in front of the Supreme Court right now that could literally kill all the gun control we have.
Before the Supreme Court, they heard the arguments on the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus the City of New York case. If you listen to the arguments on the internet, you saw that the argument was on the mootness. The defendants were arguing that since the state of New York changed the laws and the City of New York changed the laws, that there was no more injury before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court should moot the case and get rid of it. Well, the Supreme Court has had plenty of opportunities to do that, and they might still do it. But the important thing is that we have asked through our Gun Owners Foundation, Gun Owners of America, Gun Owners of California, and California Rifle and Pistol Association, we've written amicus briefs asking the court not to issue on the specificness of transporting firearms in New York, but to rule on the level of scrutiny that the Supreme Court will allow any judge in the country, whether it's an appellate court or a district court judge, on Second Amendment cases. Justice Scalia in Heller versus Washington, D.C., he wrote in the dicta that judges should refrain from judicial balancing tests, that the only thing they should rely on is the text, the history, and the tradition of the meaning of the words at the founding as their guide for ruling on Second Amendment cases. That means, what did "shall not be infringed" mean when our founding fathers wrote it in the Bill of Rights? If they rule on that, and they're going to have up to 7 opportunities, we believe, to make that ruling, it'll give us the ammunition that we need to sue to overturn not only all of the unconstitutional laws in the state of California, but those of the state of Massachusetts.
Bring it to us, please.
Yes, and throughout the country, there will be literally thousands of lawsuits filed across the country to overturn waiting day periods, shall issue, may issue, on CCWs, transportation laws, registration laws, potentially NFA, right. 1934 NFA. So many of the laws we will have, and we will be arguing from strength. The Supreme Court says, does this qualify as shall not be infringed? If it does, unconstitutional. Wipe it off the books. We're very excited about that. We're hoping and praying and working very hard. And for this reason, and this is why it's so important for you guys to be on the air, to be able to spread this word to all of the listeners and so that they can share with their friends. This is not the time to not be engaged. You need to be involved with Gun Owners of America, or Gun Owners of California, or Gun Owners Foundation, or any of the organizations that are out there fighting to protect the Second Amendment and preparing for the lawsuits that are going to come, because that's when we're going to gain the victories. And I'll be able to take all of the funny stuff off of my AR-15 and my AKs and come to Massachusetts and shoot in your backyard if
Absolutely.
we want, and have a great time exercising our Second Amendment rights.
Awesome. Guys, I've had this case, the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus New York City, on a couple videos. It really is a fracture in the foundation of gun control. And when I tell you that the anti-gunners are scared right now, this is the man who was the head of the California area. He's telling you that. They are petrified. If this falls, it all falls. Mm-hmm. And so it's extremely important. Share this with your friends. If somebody out there wants to get involved or get more information, if they live in California, where should they go?
Gun Owners, Google Gun Owners California, or go to our website at gunownersca.com, GUNOWNERSCA.com. Go to gunowners.org. Find out about Gun Owners Foundation through that website. Get involved. And we understand that a lot of you folks can't come with us to the Capitol or to the legislature in your states to argue and to debate. That's what you bless us with resources to do, and we do it really well. You can't be with us when we are actually walking and working in campaigns to elect pro-Second Amendment candidates across the nation, and you can't be with us as we work with the attorneys to write the important amicus briefs to argue these cases all the way up to the Supreme Court. But actually you can be with us. Support us. The cost of one box of ammunition per year, $20 for GOA, $35 for Gun Owners of California, and you are an actual part of the process. But don't leave it there. Continue to listen to Guns and Gadget and the folks that are breathing the truth to you. It is that important. So get off the couch. As you're sitting at your reloading bench, set aside $20 dedicated to Gun Owners of California, and you will be a partner with us in the fight to restore the Second Amendment to where it should be here in America, in California, in Massachusetts, and across the through the plains. So we welcome you to the fight.
Awesome, well said. I was just going to say I've spent $25 in coffee in the last 3 days. 3 days of coffee gets you a membership to help the fight. So step up. I'll have links to everything down below to make it easy for you. Guys and gals, I can't tell you how important this really is. Get involved. No longer can we say, Jared will take care of it, there'll be a video about it. Do everything you can on the local level. Sir, I know your time is precious. Thank you so much. It's my honor to have you here. God
bless you, and thank you so much. I look forward to partnering with you in this fight all the way to the end, man.
Awesome, brother. Thank you.
All right.
Till we see each other again, Jared from Guns and Gadgets, Mr. Paredes from GOC.
GOC.
GOC. All right. Be safe. Stay vigilant. Carry your weapon. Take care, everybody.